African Media Initiative's business blog discusses topics pertinent to media businesses on the African continent with business leaders and thought leaders to look at trends, identify opportunities, and examine possible solutions to the many challenges facing media organizations as they try to navigate today's rapidly changing media landscape. Today's discussion is about the changing business models in media, and we'll hear some perspectives from one of the major fund managers on the African continent.
These are very important issues. I think that will require input and cooperation of all stakeholders in media, and I can't think of any better time than this to be addressing such issues. What's the point in having media if it cannot be sustainable? And that's the question we're asking ourselves. You start a media house 2, 3, 4 years down the line, it shuts down. So we need to find a solution as to what should be done in order to make media sustainable. And there are a number of things that we have picked in the process as the reasons why media has been facing challenges over the years. Business models have changed. Initially, we used to have media houses getting grants, handouts, with no commitment to repay. But this has created a dependent syndrome where people go with, plate in hand asking for donations, whereas media, if it is well run, is a business that should generate a return to the investor. And this is the mindset that we're trying to have to change, in the minds of the media practitioners. If you run your media house in a professional way, if you identify the key and the niche market, then you can run a successful business. So what we have seen is where we are advancing loans with an obligation to repay. You get the money, operate, make the profit, and get the loan to be repaid, and we create a revolving fund. And this is what we are working at achieving at SAMDEF, to make sure that we create a pot of funds which we are going to grow by way of repayments with interest, and then also on lending to other investees. Those with expertise and the passion, are your business people, rather are your media people who know what it takes, to be in the newsroom and produce and come up with the product. But if they don't have what it takes to run a successful business, our encouragement has been to team up with somebody with the business management flair and get assistance, or you pull resources together to have a successful running business. So it is important that you don't just go into business alone, but rather get the necessary skills and expertise and move together. That's what the business people do. They are not journalists, but they will look for journalists to do the work for them, and then they have successful businesses. So we are talking of essentially the two things where we end up with a product where there are the necessary and the relevant skills put together to come up with the final successful organization. Running business, you need the necessary expertise. You have to run the business and make sure that you have identified the niche. Once you've identified your niche, you need to service it. You have to have the correct business management skills. I've seen instances where somebody concentrates on getting the product, but at what cost? If you fail to get it right, then it means you are spending more to get the product, and as a result, it's not sustainable. And the opposite is also true. The opposite is also true in the event where you have to find out the person who has got the relevant skills. If they've got the relevant skills, it means that they are able to assist in running the business. Training. And we need to come up with models. We need to understand the environment or the industry in which we are working. the yesterday's paper or model may not work today with the rate at which technology is changing. You know as much as I do that in the past, when you were going to cover a certain event, you'll need your cameraman, your light person, your reporter, your driver. But these days, all you need is probably one person and your iPhone, and you cover and you send instantly. So if we don't admit that technology is changing, times are changing, then we are going to remain in the past, and we are not able to generate revenues from what is available now in the age that we are operating. We also need to know the demographics. Who are we targeting? Do people read papers the same way that they were doing yesterday? And to what extent of content or volume of content do we need to deliver to them? All these things are important. So innovation, understanding the industry in which we are working are key, in making sure that we succeed in what we are doing. So training is not training just basic things, but it's also understanding the environment that we are operating.